Hey guys, welcome to Psalm 64. I think. Yes, we're on Psalm 64. Um, I have to share with you that this absolutely dumbfounded me. The first line coming into verse 1. In my Amplified, it says, Hear my voice, O God, in my complaint. Guard and preserve my life from the terror of the enemy. In King James, that word terror is actually fear. In my complaint, guard and preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Like, how profound is that? That David here is asking God to guard his life from allowing fear to take over. Fear of the enemy, fear of the circumstance, fear of whatever it is that pressing in on all sides. Just guard my life, Lord, from this fear. Because certainly, if I can get rid of this fear and I can walk away from it with my head held high, looking at you and trusting as you preserve my life, surely I can face anything. What? Like, is that not such an absolutely amazing tip to live our life? To not allow fear, to anxiety, to not worry about tomorrow. There's enough problems in today. Um, I don't know, to just not allow fear to rule us. That He will actually preserve us and preserve our life from that fear. I love that. I was just like, can't even stand it. So the vision came pretty quickly for this week. I've been on a roll the past couple of weeks that the pictures are coming to me easier the past couple of weeks. So I love the idea of a life preserver and the waves and the tumultuousness of our circumstances and the ups and the downs and all of that going on around us. But God just says, hold on to me. Just grab me. If you hold on to me, I will preserve your life. And I have to believe when he's preserving our life in that place amidst the storm, that's where the peace is found. That's where we get to step out of the circumstance and just, I don't know, like, we bob in the water with him as our life preserver. It doesn't touch us. It doesn't bring us down. It doesn't drown us. It doesn't bring us down under the circumstance and roll us around. We get to just kind of bob on the surface and know that he is the one holding us up, protecting us, and keeping us outside of that anxiety. Anxiety can keep you up at night. Anxiety can rob you of every single minute of every single day. And I have to say to you, like, this is so exciting. If this is you, if the fear and anxiety are your bedmates, if you sleep with them and you wake up with them and your mind won't shut off, I want to say to you, just say Psalm 64:1 over and over and over again and cast out that fear. You don't have to put up with that nonsense. We're children of the King. We have an inheritance. We get to hang out with Jesus and let Him just abolish all of those other things. So, yay, God. I just love yay, God. So, okay, so I'm just getting in my first little layer of my life preserver here and getting that wave in. I want to sort of get the tumultuousness. Is that a word? It should be. It's a big word. I feel like that was an SAT word. I should probably get extra points for that somehow, some way. But if it's not a word, we're just going to go with it. But just that it's a choppy water and there's a lot going on, and that life preserver is almost being like cast out up on top of the wave. It's not like half submerged. It's not trying to find its way on top of the water. No, no, no. It's almost like lifted up on top of the wave, because that's the promise that Jesus says to us, is that we don't have to put up with all of the attacks of the enemy. When we trust in him, when we cast our eyes only upon him, he actually lifts us above the storm, and we get to walk as his heel is just bruising the face of the enemy. I love that. I don't know if I ever shared this with you guys, but if I did, I'm sorry. But I had this dream once that I was sleeping, and I was really like panicking in my sleep. And I don't know if you've ever seen like in the ocean when there's a lot of fish feeding, it's almost like there's a boil, like the water's actually like boiling all around, you know? And I was in that, like I was in that. And somehow I knew that because I've watched Jaws and Shark Week every single summer. So I know that when there's that many fish, sharks are close, right? So sometimes knowledge will kill you. So I was in this fish boil, so to speak, and I knew the sharks were around, and I was so afraid. I was just so scared of everything. And I just remember just screaming out just his name, Jesus, you know, and we talked about this before that Jesus speaks heart fluently. So he just came and he just lifted me straight up. Imagine that, just straight up out of that terror of that the sharks and the fish and the biting and nipping at me, and just, he just lifted me right up. And then he took my hand and he walked me right out of that fish boil into calmer seas. And he just showed me in that second that that's our inheritance. When we cry out with all of our heart to him, he does lift us up. He lifts us out of the circumstances. And I love this visual that not only does he lift us up out of the circumstances, walk us into a calmer passage, but he even plops a life preserver on us so that when we lose sight and we forget and we look down, that he still protects us. Just because in our humanity we forget and we look down, he doesn't forsake us ever, 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 ever. So, okay, so this is a white gouache I'm putting in here onto the life preserver has a white gouache, and the little wave there has some white gouache going in. So just to give it that opacity, and there I'm putting in some pops in the wave so that it's not just rolling, but it's teeming. There's lots of foam and stuff going on around there. So just making sure that the ocean's choppy, because I imagine, excuse me, that's what tough circumstances are. It's just choppy. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know when another wave's going to take you out. It seems like every week we're talking about circumstances, but that's just where we are in the Psalms, you know. David walked through a lot, so, and we all do. I mean, goodness, we all walk through lots and lots. So I hope that I don't know, as we're doing these Psalms and as we're thinking about them each week, that as circumstances start taking us out, that we remember these things. It's like he keeps telling us and telling us and telling us that he's our rock, he's our foundation, we're safe under his wing, he's our preserver. All of this stuff, but when push comes to shove, when circumstances take us out, will we remember? My prayer is, Jesus, please help us to remember these wisdoms, this truth, these nuggets of life that you've given us. Because to me, this is such a nugget of life that we need to pray for protection against the fear and anxiety of our enemy. Like, that is a very real, tangible thing that we need to go to the throne room for. And it just, I don't know about you guys, but that just like wow. That's all I got. That's all I can say is just wow. It just blew my mind that he knows us so well. He's such a good God. He's such a good Savior. So, well, let's see where we are now. I keep going off on a tangent and not talking about the drawing. So I added some shadows into that frothy part where the wave is crashing down. And I don't remember. That might be the last one. I think I keep coming in with different shadows to just keep popping it up a little bit more. Um, I don't know. I think that this one was a pretty easy one. I don't think that there'll be much problems with the shadows. I know that I've had some requests about shadows. So if you're looking at the preserver right there, you're going to have a shadow on the inside rim. Um, where it's touching the water, that inside rim is going to have a shadow that will pop in. And then you're going to have a shadow on the outside rim, around the outside of it. Does that make sense? So I go in with a gray watercolor, but I have it really watered down. I want it to be very subtle. I don't want it to be like gray. See, I didn't even know that was coming up next, but there it is. Because I guess at this point you were thinking, Lord, Lisa, drop a shadow in there. So, and then popping it in, because those are pieces of fabric, I believe, that are around the life preserver. So that would cast a little bit of a shadow on the white styrofoamy part of the preserver. So, see now, doesn't that just look so much better? It's amazing how shadows can just, I don't know, just make it pop and look so 3D. So, this one I really liked. I think I might do a print of this one because it just spoke to me. You know, some weeks just are profound. They just absolutely knock you about your head. And he gets our attention. He just always gets our attention. This one got my attention. It really did get my attention. And if I can just maintain this image of that life preserver riding above the storm, and that's what he offers us. But I have to grab it. Do you know? I can know it in my head, but in my heart, do I give in and give up control of the circumstance, control of having to, control the need to control the circumstance, the need to control the outcome, and really just grab hold of the preserver and let him walk it out? Am I going to do that? So I'm hoping the answer is yes. I hope that I do that in the next trial. So I think I need this one up in somewhere in my house so I remember that he is my preserver and he will protect me from the fear of the enemy. Yay, God. Can't you just say a yay, God? So I wanted to remind everybody while I'm drying, I'm getting in my little storm clouds in there. But over on the Facebook page, I do a zombie on Tuesday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have to get better at it. I have to admit that. I tend to not think about what tags I'm going to do quick. I just kind of throw them together in the last minute. So in 2019, I will be more intentional about figuring out what I'm going to do ahead of time and letting you guys grab hold of the supplies. So I'm sorry. But it is a sweet time, even other than creating a tag. So we create a tag so that we can abandon them. So whatever truth we've gotten for that week, we can then make a tag, a visual tag with the gospel on it that we can then abandon in our neighborhoods. So that we're always taking this internal conversation and make a physical manifestation of it. So whatever, like this preserver was so profound for me. Well, I want to share that with other people because I can promise you there is somebody around my town that could use this word. And in my obedience to saying yes to making a tag, a visual tag to abandon somewhere, I know that Jesus is so sweet that he will get just the right person to find that tag. And then the message just keeps going. I love God. So we do the tags. I forgot where I was, but I think we do the tags on Tuesday night and then we abandon them out. But it's also such a sweet time of prayer and fellowship and community. It's just so sweet. You've got to get over on the Facebook group and join us. I did see. I have some sort of an app on my phone where I can do like a dual YouTube and Facebook post. Lord, I don't know if I am that good at multitasking to be able to do three different platforms at the same time. You might actually see me explode on camera. It could happen, and you would all be privy to that. So I will see. 2019 is going to bring lots of changes as we continue on in our Psalm study. So I do dry after my Bic Cristal pen because it's so juicy. And me, I'm that right hand. I just smush everything everywhere. So I do just give it a quick dry to just make sure that ink sets. He, the I never paid this much attention to a life preserver in my life, but there's also this thing of rope that goes around the life preserver. So not only is it buoyant, but there's something that you can really hold on to. Is that not our Jesus? Like he is something that we can truly, truly hold on to. And like, I'm thinking about where we say, in, sorry, increase my faith, right? And he says, with a mustard seed, you can do anything. So I sort of think about the life preserver in that I might not be in a place in my faith system where I'm like going underwater and popping my head up through that life preserver and completely trusting in him all around. I might be somewhere in my faith system where I just can only hold on to a little piece of the rope. and pray so earnestly that he hears me and that he will be my preserver. That might just be where my faith is now. But he provides that. Like he even has just a piece of rope. If all you can do is grab onto the rope and you don't want to do a full submersion into the full trust, that's cool. He'll take it. He'll take that. So I really love this image. Have you caught on to that? I really do. He's so sweet the way he gives us these images. So I actually, for 2 weeks in a row now, I laid my lettering in beforehand. I didn't just wing it. I know, right? Stop it. I can't even stand myself. Um, I don't know. I did black on the bottom, but I'm wondering in retrospect if I should have gone in with a white. But I don't know because it was just sort of there's a lot of white down there in the ocean and then the black. I don't know. So you'll see. You'll tell me if you like it or not. So I have a question for everybody in the last couple of minutes that we've got going here. So we're coming into 2019, and I don't know, like, do you guys do, like, I do vision boards and all this kind of stuff as I try to, I don't know, listen to what he wants and adjust my rudder accordingly. So, what do you guys want to see in the new year? What are you looking for? What can I help you with in 2019? I do have a guest artist that's going to come on and she's going to work on lettering for you guys. I'm so excited about that. I'm thinking about maybe launching a design team where I can share some of my designs that are for sale. And like I'll give you the designs and then for free and then like that whole thing. So I'm thinking about that. I don't know what else. What else would you guys like to see in 2019? I'm thinking about a stamp line. So I've got so much like popping in my head, but I would absolutely love to hear what you guys are looking for. And not even like from me per se, but what do you feel like is something that might be missing in the Bible journaling market that you would just like to see that would be a help, that would minister to you and would help you in your walk with God? Because as much as I love doing the pictures and as much as I like this picture speaks to me, but it doesn't just speak to me because it's pretty, it speaks to me because it's such a profound image that I can hold on to and I can share with others. Like, I think that's what Bible journaling is all about. It gives us these profound images that we get to take out into the world and share with others. And it takes this Bible that can sometimes be confusing and hard to relate to. And we get these concrete images that people can grab onto and say, yeah, I get that. I want to know more about that. So, I don't know. So I'm just curious what you guys are thinking and what you're looking for. I don't know. Looking at it on the camera, the black does show up. I think the white wouldn't show up as much. So I'm happy with it. All right, I'm happy with it. So I think that is just about going to wrap us up for this week. Please come on over to Facebook. I don't know if all you guys are part of Facebook. And even if that's a problem, like let's say that you're in your part of the country that you don't have Facebook, like how can I reach you? How can we do community together? We had somebody come in last week from Cambodia and Haiti, but I want community, everybody that comes in. I would love to just hug you all and I don't know, just love on everybody and do life together. So I don't know how to make that even more feasible. But if you have suggestions, I will most certainly take them. So I'm popping in my little white highlights here. I put in my gray shadows. So I'm just popping in this little bit of white, and I think that really is just going to finish this one out. Um, I don't know. I love how that image he gave to us for this week. He's so good. So I will catch you over on Facebook, and until next week when we have Psalm 65, I will catch up with you then. I think here I'm just using a graphite pencil, maybe to just pop in a little bit of a border around the edge just to have an eye stop. And then that was a little bit too dark, so I smudged it out with an eraser. That's it. Love you guys. I'll see you next week. Bye.